When you talk about expansions for the original Half-Life, there would be mainly two expansions that come up: Half-Life Opposing Force and Half-Life Blue Shift. These are really good expansions and definitely worth the mention. However, people sometimes do forget that there is technically a third one. Half-Life Decay was originally released exclusively bundled with the PlayStation 2 release of the original Half-Life. It featured a full, unique co-op campaign where you play as Dr. Gina Cross and Dr. Colette Green as they fight for their survival during the very same resonance cascade as Gordon finds himself into. Now, interestingly enough, this Half-Life game never got an official PC port despite Gearbox, developer of the campaign, having actually finished one. There are many fan attempts to try and get the game working on PC, though in various different forms. One of those attempts is called peer review. But peer review aims to do a whole lot more than just bring the campaign over to the PC platform. It aims to fully reboot it with the Source engine as foundation instead of the aging, yet still charming, Gold Source engine. We have talked about peer review before on All Things Lambda back in the day, but our last mention of it was back in 2021. And they have just released a new media update that we can take a look at, so this is the perfect time to look back at it. So, why don't we?
LambdaGeneration.
This month, LambdaGeneration is brought to you by Military Conflict Vietnam, a Source-based game that brings an intense and fast-paced first-person shooter set in the middle of the Vietnam War. You can either join the Vietnamese soldiers or US Army soldiers in close quarters combat with fluid and modern controls. Featuring 6 classes with over 100 weapons to choose from, historically accurate skins and cosmetics, and promotions to earn. The game also gets updated weekly with new free content, and there's even Steam Workshop support and a classic server browser. Hosting costs for the site are increasing, and with the help of the Military Conflict Vietnam team, we get to keep doing what we're doing. They basically paid for the hosting costs for the entirety of January for us. Truly amazing. For this occasion, I'm giving away 3 copies of the game to anyone who comments on this video and is subscribed to the channel. Oh, and make sure there is a way for us to contact you linked to your YouTube channel. Many thanks to Military Conflict Vietnam and developers Dust Fade for sponsoring us. There is a link to obtain the game in the description below. Now, on to the video. Peer Review was officially announced to be in production on December 1st, 2018 by PSR Digital, a modding team who was also responsible for the Black Mesa Hazard Course remake that you can play right now through the Black Mesa Workshop. A person of note who has been working on Peer Review is Chris Bryant, who also made the Half-Life Uplink remake called Further Data, which we have also covered on the channel before. Chris Bryant is the person mainly typing these media updates up for Peer Review, but he doesn't seem to be its lead developer. That is supposed to be DKY the King I'm sorry if I butchered that name. At least according to ModDB, which could be out of date at this point. Please point it out in the comments if I'm wrong here. Anyway, over the years, Peer Review has shared many media updates sharing loads of content and concepts, and man, some of them do seem really cool. You can see a bunch of them from these older All Things Lambda episodes I've done if you're curious. A lot of these map screenshots, for example, look at the level of Black Mesa quality. Now, it's worth noting that these are art study maps, which means that these aren't entirely representative of the final maps that you'll be seeing in the full game once it comes out. But these map screenshots are benchmarks of how detailed they'd want to go for their maps. Apart from a bunch of art study map screenshots, we also have a load of models to look at, and even a lot of concept art from Francesca Magali, Aurora Parker, and Michael Tannock, which depicts various characters and important objects in the game, like this maintenance worker, or this alien grunt, which seems like it lost a lot of weight, and Dr. Keller has his own concept art too. We'll be seeing more of him later on. As you can see, PSR Digital knows what it's doing with this, and the project seems to have a lot of promise. And we get to see more of that promise in its latest media update, so let's check that out, shall we? In the post called 2022 Closeout, posted on the 31st of December 2022, Chris Bryant starts with talking about what happened with the quarterly updates that they originally promised to deliver, well, every quarter. Just to give you some perspective, the update posted before this one was in early July. The reason why they have gotten back on their quarterly update goal is because they're currently in a stage of development where they just don't always have lots of pretty stuff to show, or it would be stuff that would be spoiler heavy. This mandate of always having to post an update every quarter with things to show led to a culture where they were prioritizing the creation of eye candy content over what really needed to get done, even when that eye candy content could have originally waited to be developed until way later in the process. In order to streamline the development of the project, PSR Digital have decided that it's better to release an update every other quarter from now on, with smaller updates in between here and there. Oh, and smaller stuff is being shared more frequently in their Discord server, so join that if you're interested. The media update then moves on to talk about the stuff that has been done in the past half year. Apparently, 2 new missions are now fully playable from start to finish, which are Surface Call and Resonance. In fact, they're going to require playtesters soon as well to test out these new missions, so do follow them in case you want to be involved with that. A new member of the team, Pi, has also joined to help out as a character artist. Together with texture artist Notewell Lyons, she's been working on the model for Dr. Keller based on that concept art I showed earlier, and it turned out pretty interestingly. Definitely a slightly different style than vanilla Half-Life / Black Mesa, which I can appreciate. It brings something fresh to the table. I wonder what this will look like in engine. Next up, we have a Snark model created by both Chris Bryant and Pi. I like how it's all comfy and rolled up in the second pose here. It looks like it's ready for a bedtime story. Of course, we have some more art study maps to look at here from the air traffic control building that appears in the Code Green mission. We seem to be looking at the entrance area here, which gives you access to the offices, restrooms, and the maintenance areas of the building by going through this hallway. And the other shot here shows further into that hallway that features an elevator guarded by turrets ready to kill anyone who crosses their lines. Their red, glowy lines. This whole floor seems to have some moody lighting, only giving you light wherever it's absolutely necessary. And the last image that they have to show us here is from a loose heavy machine gun that you'll be able to find and place behind some sandbags. It looks very highly detailed. Now, it is worth noting that all of the stuff you've just seen is, of course, still work in progress, and models won't look as good put into the source engine as that they look in these rendered images. It's just the nature of how these things work, unfortunately. They're winding down the media update by talking about their official public Discord server, which you can join right now for more content and discussions about the mod, and they're also in need of more people to join their team. They're looking to fill pretty much every position except audio and writing, so if you can help out, then fill in the application form. They really need 3D artists and character artists, so hey, if you have that skill, help them out, will ya? They also have a Twitter you can check out to find out more about updates when they release and to see more works from the developers and fan art from the community. Of course, there is much more to discover about this project, so if you'd like to see more, then check the link I posted in the description below. They'll bring you to this media update I talked about and the main ModDB page as well. So, what do you think of peer review? Is it a yipple or a nah plorble? Do tell me in the comments. I'm very curious. I know I say that all the time, but still, it's true. Big thanks again to Military Conflict Vietnam for sponsoring LambdaGeneration this month. It's projects like you guys helping us out that gives us the ability to keep doing what we're doing in the long term. And that's pretty cool. Happy 2023.